Good evening, everybody. Hello, and welcome to what is a very, very wet Portimao race circuit. I don't even need to do a rain dance. I said to Partick I would do one, but I don't need to do one for qualifying because that is not quite Hurricane Milton sort of level of rain, but it's sure as hell probably not far off it. But anyway, good evening, everybody. Hello, and welcome to what is round 10 of the AEC season. TRS here tonight, obviously. The final race until we have a bit of a break until the final final 5 rounds of the season. But you've got myself, Mr. Bobbett's, back in the box once again after a few weeks off. I'm finally, well, I have been summoned once again into the commentary booth. All on my own because I am a top loner. So, interesting, it looks like it's going to be wet tyres unless anyone's going to come out on the intermediates. There is a Ferrari coming out on track, which is going to be Dom. But whilst we wait for him to circulate and to... I mean, just look at those conditions. It is like dancing on ice, but instead on a very wet track. Yeah, nice traction. We will quickly go through the standings, and after Shizu's very good result last week, it does mean that they have closed the gap once, well, back again onto BRT, back to 53 points, and then there's a, well, everyone, there's then over 120-point gap back to TT and back in third, who over the last 5 races have just not turned up whatsoever. So it does seem to be a 2-team race out of the front as to who potentially could take this title. I mean, anything can happen. Stupider things have happened. But what's quite convenient and coincidental is that Team Shizu's second round points haul is the exact number of difference of points that it is between the top 2 teams, between themselves and Bunga Racing Team, which is 53 points, as I mentioned, because they had a really shoddy week. I did that race, so yeah, it's all my fault. Quickly go through the rest of them. So obviously, TTM are in 3rd place, FG up into 4th. They have actually got ahead of FRT, who have now dropped to 5th place. XPG in 6th, EVR in 7th, with CRE in 8th. Alien Motorsports in 9th, and TIE finally got their first point, I should say, last week, and round out the top 10. But here comes Dom into turn 1 now. In some very tricky conditions. We'll actually go on board with him this entire lap as he comes through the first couple of corners, and into turn 3 now. Manages to get the car turned into the apex after he had a wiggle, I think, through the exit of turn 1, up the hill through turn 4. That is going to be a corner that is going to have no traction whatsoever. Down the hill, easy to lock up the brakes here, not only in the wet conditions but also in the dry. Very easy to do at the best of times. And again, traction is going to be very key here for this qualifying session. Into the double right, that actually drops it down to 4th gear. Not confident there, Dom, just to get the car turned in. And very squirrely on the exit, but that's to be expected. Can he keep it flat coming up the hill on here? Yes, he can quite easily. Keep it to the left as much as he can and turn in very late to just about hit the apex and come down the hill and start the 3rd sector. Comes Dom, he does have a car in front of him. Hopefully that McLaren is not going to be in his way or distract him as he completely outbrakes himself into the final sector. In through the final braking zone, a proper turning point. Now can he take, oh, and again, struggling once again for the traction and turning the car, not happy in these conditions. Can he take it flat? A little bit of a lift there coming through the final corner onto the overtake. No DRS, obviously, because they were in the wet conditions. So what's it going to be? It's a 28.5 for the rest of the field to try and beat. On the way. I was going to say it's an Alpine that's coming up. But Liam Hardman's about to finish his lap, so I believe we have an RB coming next, and that's Josh, who's actually invalidated, but he's about to get going. So is that Medal? That's the next across the line. It is indeed Medal. He's actually on the intermediate compounded tyre, and it only goes 4/10 slower than his teammate, so not much difference between the 2 tyre compounds at this early stage. It's not Niall that's coming up next. It is going to be... Is that Josh then that's coming up next? No, it's not. I don't know which car it is. It'll be his teammate. On the intermediate tyres is 1:30.9, 2 seconds slower than Medal, though. Do have a Red Bull coming up next. Is that Elite Risk? No, we'll stay on board with Elite Risk, though, as Venom, it was Venom, his teammate, who goes to the top of timesheets. Now Crowding goes ahead of him by a 10th and a half. One driver on the intermediates, the other on the wet tyres. Elite Risk on the wet compounded tyre. Where does he go for Team Shizou? And only goes P6 as VK Zox goes behind him and goes on to pole position with a 127.4, adjusted into the mid-26s. Now, intermediates definitely are the correct tyre to be on. So anyone who's on the wet should really get into the pits box, as VK is actually lagged out of the session as soon as he finished that time. Do you have McLaren? That'll be Simbrox 1 that's behind an Alpine. Coming to the line, Simbrox 1 obviously not long recently joined FRT. He goes into P6, 3 places behind his teammate Harvey, currently in P3. How's Mr. JT getting on? Not doing a great deal, let's be honest. Partik has actually joined and is actually in the lobby. Well done. He's actually not missed out too much. VK does manage to join back in. Looks like everybody is finishing their laps, says XPG. S29, oh, it'll be Sen, as invalidated, as Josh actually went to P3 there, missed that actually, but goes into P3 there for XPG. Who's further on out of Kieran and Partek. We'll go on board with the Alpine of Kieran. I'm going to have to get a drink at some point. If I'd have known I was on my own, I would have got a drink, but I didn't know until the last minute. As Kieran comes down the hill now at a 101.0. I think that's a good few seconds off what we should be seeing come the end of the middle sector. But let's see if he finishes the lap or if he's just going to box, considering that the intermediates are the better tyre to be on. The fact that Venom's done a 28.3 on the wets isn't too shabby, but the fact he's got 1.8 seconds to find to Justin, who's currently on a provisional pole and 9/10 clear of second place, just shows that, yes, it is definitely intermediates. Kieran does actually finish his lap. It goes P14, not the slowest, but really should have realised that he needs to pit, as the wets are not the best tyre to be on. I think some people have actually stayed out and are going for a double attempt. Niall could be one of them, or is he going into box? No, he's going to stay out on those wet tyres, and he is going to go again. Interesting choice. Now, what's Josh doing? He's invalidated, but he's going to go again. 2 seconds down. We do have an AMS driver coming to line. That will be Partik to finish his first attempt. Where does he go? Up into P13 on a 29 flat, as JT there goes into P5 for TTM. TTM, who have been struggling well, for the last 5 races, need to pick up some form and pick up some points. Currently, like I said, P3 in the standings, but at one point we're actually, very close with Team Shizou and BRT in the point standings, but it's just all gone pear-shaped for them. So they need to hopefully try and get that changed. Simbrox 1 has invalidated. What about his teammate Harvey? Currently nearly 3/10 up on his PB. That'll actually provisionally put him into P5 ahead of JT. If you can find a little bit more time, we could actually go ahead of Josh as well. Why am I on the internet here? Okay. Don't know why I've done that, but fair enough. And indeed, Harvey does manage to find a little bit more time and does go into P4. Which Ferrari is that that's coming across the line? It's not Medal. It was his teammate Dom who's going again. Simbrox 1 has invalidated. The lonely, one and only CRE driver of Martin on the wet tyres coming through the final corner. Again, decides not to pit. Everyone who's been on the wet tyres has realised that Liam Hardman has gone second on the wets, actually. Didn't see that coming. And now goes P3 on the wet, so maybe the wets aren't quite out of the window just yet, but with the time that, well, Josh now goes into P2 on 3-lap-old intermediates and goes quicker, and Justin's done that mid-26, then yeah, surely it's got to be intermediate tyres. Knight is about to start his first attempt. We have a Red Bull coming to the line. That will be Venom obviously starting his next lap. He does have an XPG driver, and that'll be Sem going in behind him and goes P3. So this track is just going to get quicker and quicker and quicker, and these times are going to tumble. Elite Risk will be starting his lap next. Justin on his out lap. His teammate Crowding also on an out lap. Trying to find someone who's actually on a lap. Harvey is not on a lap. Is his teammate Simba? Has he gone again? The answer is no. What's VK doing? He has invalidated. Martin, we know, has just finished his lap. So we're kind of in that low point where everyone is kind of like recharging their batteries, apart from Dom, who goes into P2, and I've just completely missed that like an absolute idiot. It's just because I'm that good at the moment. I'm just clearly missing absolutely everything. We will stay on board with AMS Knight, because he hasn't settled that time. As he comes through the final few corners, his teammate Partik is actually further up ahead of him, actually. Let's see if Partik is on a lap. Quickly, the answer is... potentially... And indeed, goes into P3. Where can his teammate Knight go? I mean, Partik coming into P3. Can AMS get 2 cars on the second row of the grid? And in fact, Knight goes one better. It goes onto the front row of the grid at the moment, into P2. But these times are just going to keep tumbling. And there we go. Venom now goes to the top of the timesheet, puts a 10th and a bit clear on Justin. But Justin will be on a lap himself. Will go on board with the BRT drive. In fact, his teammate is further up the road, crowding down into P14 at the moment. A second and a half up, though, which is exactly what he needs. That'll get him into roughly the high 26s if he can find a bit more time through these final couple of corners. He could join the likes of his teammate up towards the top. Where does Elite Risk go? Elite Risk does a 25.8, sets a complete new benchmark. Crowding goes into P2 with a 26.2. But where is Justin? Half a second up. He needs a little bit more time if he's going to dethrone Elite Risk. Can he do it? Yes, he can, by about 3/4 of a tenth there. He retakes that provisional pole position. Harvey jumps up into P4 these times. It's just going to keep tumbling and tumbling. Where does Dom go? In fact, he's going again. That's Simrox 1 coming to line. Only P12 for Simrox 1. He needs to find a bit more time there to get up to the front towards where his teammate is. Martin's finally going to box and realise that the wets are not the tyre to go on. VK is going again. Now he's going to the pits to go onto the wet tyres. I think they've finally got the memo. Partik on a cooldown lap. Knight is invalidated. Then next, I think that'll be Venom coming round. It is Venom coming round. So again, it's trying to find someone who's on a bloody lap. Okay, so Harvey's not going again. We'll go on board with Venom. We'll stick on board with the Shazoo man. Currently in P5. Evening, Jay, by the way. Sorry to completely ignore that. As Venom takes the first 3 corners and up the hill through turn 5, goes into 5th gear, does not trust the car, does not trust the traction, but finds 2/10 in the first sector. It's a good start to the lap there for Shazoo Venom. Gets the car turning, takes as much curb as he dares on the inside line, does not let the car run out too wide on the curb of the exit to try and help minimise the wheel spin. In through the double right and up the next hill. The hills on this just remind me of, and I know people have said this before, remind me of Malaysia back in the day, where you had that uphill left hand at the end of the middle sector. That was it was treacherous as it was in the dry as it is in the wet, and it's the same again here. Venom now 3.5 tenths up, purple middle sector apparently, as VK goes into P4. Dom's gone into P3 now. So again, these times are just going to keep tumbling. It might be a case of the last person to cross the finish line is going to have the best conditions. But where can Venom go? Can he get onto the front row? Can he get ahead of his teammate? Can he get ahead of Justin? It's going to be quite close. It's going to be tight. And in fact, he does beat them both by nearly 1/10 of a second and retakes that provisional pole for the time being. And no doubt he's probably going to go into the box now so he can go for another lap. That's Kieran is just starting his lap time. And his teammate, also Liam Harmon, about to start his next attempt. We've got an RB coming to the line now. That is Sem, who's on an out lap. We then have a Ferrari. Now, is that Dom? Yes, it is Dom, who will be on an in lap or on a cooldown lap. Scroll down we go again. JT is on a lap and is 1.3 seconds up. On course for a mid-26. We'll need to find there's a bit of a gap there between Harvey in P7 and Knight in P8. 4/10 there. At the moment, JT's probably on course to split them and go in between. He's got a lot of battery as JT, actually. He's probably saving it, obviously, to go again on this particular lap, to do 2 laps in a row, or if he's going to go to the end. But where can JT go with this lap time? The answer is he goes into P6 or 26 flat. So a decent attempt there, and his teammates coming inbound, obviously, to start his next attempt. It's a McLaren going very slowly, which I presume is out of fuel. How's Josh doing? Was at the front, actually, at one point in the top 3, and has dropped now down to P13, which just, again, shows how quickly these times are coming down. Does Josh actually improve? He does, but only by a tenth of a second, and stays in P13. Aston Martin, they're coming across the line. That's Partick to start his next attempt. We do now have one of the Alpines. It's not Liam Hardman, it's his teammate who actually goes ahead of him as Liam had invalidated. We now have a Ferrari, which will be a medal to start his next attempt. God, trying to keep up with this is not easy. Harvey is about to start his next attempt. JT is not going again. Is Niall on a lap? The answer is yes, he is. He's a second up alone in the first sector. How's his middle sector looking though? Now 2 seconds up. He's actually Niall's actually on course to take a provisional pole unless he completely messes up this final sector. As Harvey and Elite Risk start their next attempts. Obviously, there's a few drivers now coming out on their final set of intermediates to go for one more lap. This rain does definitely look like it is getting lighter. That's not very nice, Moser. Come on, don't be horrible. But here comes Niall across the start-finish line to take provisional pole by half a second there, with a 25.1 to set the new banker. Here comes Martin, now currently in last place. He's actually up on his time, but he's in none for some reason. And does improve, but will definitely be looking to go quicker than that. Partick coming to the start-finish line now. He'll have one more. Will he have time to recharge his battery and go again? He can't. Well, he can't. He can't let off the gas too much, but he might be the last person who'll be able to do it. Ferrari coming to the line now. Is that Medal? It is indeed Medal, who is not improving, and he's going to go again. So everyone is going to be starting the final attempts now. They've either just started or they're going to start. It's very tight here. I mean, this whole grid could just easily change so quickly. And Martin is actually invalidated, so well, actually, he's going to be doing his best to get up to get another end. Josh is unfortunately disconnected in P9, so that is him done. He will not be going again. Elite Risk coming to the line, going to go for one more attempt. Is that JT on a lap? JT is on a lap. This is JT's final attempt here. 4-10's up. Where can the TTM man go? Can he go and join his teammate? He's currently in P3. It's the second row of the grid. TTM looking good for the time being. Harvey's gone into P2, which I've completely missed. Simrox1 has finished his lap. Don't know who's going to be the next car come across the start-finish line. Is it Aston Martin? That'll be 9 to start his attempts. There's a Mercedes now. Is that crowding? It is indeed crowding. VK is on an out lap, so it's going to be the Red Bull next. And that'll be Venom, who's just going to get his lap started. As is Partick, as is Justin. So anyone after this now, I think that is it. Unless the Alpine that's down there, which is Kieran, who's going to finish his lap. He's going to be the first one to finish. He's P15 at best for Kieran. That's the best that he can expect. That was Medal there going up into P4. So Liam Hardman, the first driver of the, well, first driver of everybody else, I should say. The third driver then to finish their last attempt. His teammate only in P15. Can Liam get into the top 10 at least? Can he give his team a fighting chance? He does much better than that. Goes into P2. But I do expect these times to tumble even quicker. Sam is the next person up. He's 8-10. So there's a Red Bull behind him. Which Red Bull is it? Is it Venom? It is not Venom. It is Elite Risk. No bias here at all. I will go on board with Elite Risk. Can he take provisional pole back? He can. He goes into the mid-24s. McLaren, they're peeling into the pits. I don't know if that's Simba, if that's Harvey. That's Harvey. He's finished. Dom goes into P4. The second, here comes the second McLaren. Simrox1 down in P16 at the moment. Where can he go? He now goes into P4. I can't get this down quick enough. Who's the next? It's the Aston Martin that's next. That's going to be AMS Knight. He's currently in P16 himself. He now goes into P3. These times are tumbling. They just keep tumbling. Where's Venom? P11 at the moment. Where can he go? It's only P4. Justin coming across the start finish line. He only goes P3. And I think that is it, apart from Kieran. That is everybody done now, apart from Kieran, who is not improving. So it's Elite Risk takes pole position here at Portimao for Team Shazoo. And he's on the front row, being joined by TTM's Niall, with a stellar effort there. This is why I sometimes hate wet qualifying, because of how everything just changes all the time. But it is Elite Risk on pole position by a tenth and a half head of Nile, just in there getting into P3 at the end. AMS Knight in P4, a good attempt there from the AMS driver. Venom gets two Shazoo drivers in the top five, and they are looking good here at the end of qualifying. Liam Hardman in P6, Cyberox on P7, Dom P8, Harvey P9, who was up in the top 4 for most of that session, only P9, and JT rounds out the top 10. Then you have Medal, Partik, VK, Sam, Josh crowding down in P16 for BRT. That is not what the doctor would have ordered for BRT. Then you have Kieran and Martin rounding out the top 18. So BRT in a bit of a pickle for the start of the race with crowding down in P16. Looks like it's going to be two Shazoo drivers against the one BRT driver. But obviously this whole thing can change just at the click of a finger. Obviously now we have the lull where everybody will hopefully retire straight away. Excuse me. Very healthy. Oh, Olympus is locked out of the session. But that was a very interesting qualifying. That was it was so close. So close. Well, fairly close. Sorry, I'm just taking a breather just because my throat is absolutely, well, suffering. I think we'll put it that way. It's suffering, even just after that. Wet race means crowding wins. Tech, if that happens, I will give you £10. Yeah, I'll happily bet that. You forgot all about that part if you lost the bet. Probably not the right drink to have to be making, but who cares? I mean, I guess. I mean, the thing is, though, what can you get for even a quid these days? The answer is no. I mean, you could get a bar of chocolate, perhaps, but there isn't a massive amount that you can get for a quid these days. You know, back in my day, you could get a lot for that. 1.3 Freddos, yeah. You're probably not wrong with that, actually. Right, now it's a case of how long do we wait and see how long crowding takes to actually get the lobby all reset up. Oh. Tech, have you got any insight news as to why Crowding only qualified P16? Why was he so bad in quali? Invalidated. Well, tell him to keep it between the white lines. I mean, there is that as well. Yeah, that's another way of putting it, but we didn't want to put it that way. Right. Now that I've spoken to the people that need talking to, I cannot focus on this again. There's a lot of you. Well, to be fair, Tech, I actually have met Crowding in person. I did actually meet him and see him at the British Grand Prix. Chesterfield. That's an interesting one. Oh. Right, we'll just wait and see if Crowding is finished. Okay, so he has actually put collisions on. That's a good start. Right. Okay, so everyone's already started readying up anyway, even though I hadn't told them to, but that's fine. We're not bothered. Give them a few minutes to actually get the setups on. Now, let's see what sort of race conditions we're going to be having. Heard you saw the... Is that aimed at me, Smeg? Right. Is it going to rain? Well, it's cloudy. Whether that's a promising sign or not, I don't know. Well, since we've got a couple of minutes whilst we wait, be interesting to see what everyone's thoughts and predictions are going to be for this race on this amazing Portimao circuit here at the Algarve. You can tell I didn't bother to actually learn the track's corner names. Too many to think of. Too many to remember. So we've got Chedwin, Crowd in second, and that Kieran from TIE in third. That's an interesting top three. If that happens, I'll give you a tenner as well then, Adam. Just dishing money out here. Some might say that I'm a betting man. It's probably why I never win a bet. I mean, just look at the race director again, just to see what sort of where everyone is starting. I mean, this guy's got a lot of work to do from P16. That's a given. But in all honesty, I do see it being between Shizou and Justin in particular as to what Niall and JT can do for, excuse me, for TTM. We'll have to wait and see. But they've got to get through the first corner first on this first lap, and yeah, and yes, Tech, looks like it is going to be another 2v1 situation, as the sun is now starting to come out, so those clouds seem to be disappearing, so maybe there isn't any rain in the forecast. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Crowding's got a lot of work to do. I mean, if you want to help keep your 53-point lead, you're going to have to rely on him getting his way through the field and for Shizou to have an absolute howler. That's not very nice, Adam, is it? Come on. Let's not be harsh here. But here we are, onto the grid. The 5 red lights are coming on for us now. And it's lights out, and away we go. There's a lot of wheel spin there from now, but I thought he actually had an initial better launch there compared to Elite Race. But Elite Race there does get into the lead, in towards turn 1, as that's Liam Hardman actually already dropping down the field. Venom's always made his way up into P4, but it is Elite Race who leads this race from Niall. Justin in P3, Venom in P4, side by side there between Simbrox 1 and AMS 9. A bit of contact there in the background. Quite a few drivers going sideways, but Simbrox 1 does get ahead of AMS 9, who's looking down towards the inside, into the hairpin now. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. That's Dom. Dom trying to look his way. There's 2 drivers going completely off the circuit. That was VK and Josh. Not too sure if there was any contact made, but the top 3 seem to get away quite cleanly. Venom's made up 1 position already. Hardman obviously has dropped down into P8. He's not had the best of starts at all. If you look at that, I mean, wow. Talk about being the odd one out. So everybody's on the medium compound tyres, apart from Elite Riss, who's on that soft compound tyre, but he has broken the DRS, so he's got a yellow flag, and that is for Kieran, who's already made a mistake and has dropped to the back of the field. But Crowning has made his way up into P13 now, but Justin in P3 is going to want to get it moved on the back of Niall. He's got Venom in behind him as well. These 3 drivers all so close together. Elite Riss is in the lead of this Grand Prix. It's a 1.3 second gap. Justin going to the inside, and here comes Shizou Venom as well. Is he going to be 3 wide in towards turn 1? No, it's not. It's going to be 2 wide. They're just going behind. It's Elite Riss is disconnected from the session. No bias here at all. That is not what he needed. There we go. No bias at all. I invite my own teammate back in. He still managed to get a 1.2 second lead for the time being, but that gap might slowly come down. And the gap that you want to pull out is not going to be as big as you want it to be, but hopefully we can get him back into the lobby, as Crowdy now makes his way past XPG7 and goes into P12. So good start for Crowdy. He's made up 4 places already, but he needs to make up several more if he wants to get up towards the front where he should be. Harvey there in P8 behind Dom in P7, who's in a bit of a McLaren and FRT sandwich. You requested Dutch Sprechen. I mean, I did do German back at school, but back in my GCSE days, but that's going back quite a while now. You're going to have to bear with me on that if you actually are bothered about the 3,000 points that you've just spent on doing that. Tech, do you want a fact? No, Mozza, we're not on 110 AI, we're on 100. TRS is 100 AI. But has Elite Riss joined back into the session yet? The answer is yes, he has, but he's not. Obviously, he's lost the DRS now by no fault of his own. And the lead that he had has now obviously just been completely wiped out. Justin's probably going to go for a move, but he might not even bother. So he got yellow flags at the back, and that is Martin and VK coming to blows. And Elite Riss actually has left the session again. Oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. But Elite Riss, maybe this is what BRT were hoping for, and well, by luck and miracle chances, Elite Riss connection is clearly crap tonight, or it's just something's clearly not right. As Crowding and Medal going side by side. Two heavyweights here of the F1 community, and it's Crowding who gets ahead of Medal there for P11 and has now made up 5 places at the start of this race. Yeah, we're probably going to have more people DC now, or I bloody well hope not. The Elite race is now down to P4. Niall's up into P3. Justin now in the lead of this race, followed closely by Venom. As Dom and AMS Knight going side by side. Going to be 3 wide here, because here comes FRT Harvey with the DRS. Is it going to be 3 lines to turn 1? Can the McLaren driver get on the inside line? Just not quite there. Should have really got on board with him. As Knight shuts the door. But here comes Dom down the inside of Harvey, who just caught him napping there, and he takes that at least 1 place back, but has a massive slide on the exit. And here comes Harvey now with the DRS and on the ERS power. Dom there trying to force him to the inside as much as he can. Harvey, oh, there's contact there as Elite Riss has joined back into the session, and he's been spun round by AMS Knight. Well, if Elite Riss look wasn't going to go, and it wasn't going to get any worse, it just did. That is so unfortunate there for Elite Race, and well, now that actually makes this very interesting. It's a 1v1 at the front between BRT and Shazoo, and here comes Crowding once again. This time making a bit of contact there with Liam Hardman. Crowding getting very aggressive here, trying to get his way through the field, and he's got XPG. Oh, Crowding has just completely locked up his brakes, and all the positions he basically has just made, he's now just he's just lost. Okay, well, this now makes it equal. You have a BRT and Shazoo together at the front, and then down here in P13 and P14 pretty much. As there is a gap developed from the top 4 to 5th place downwards, as here comes Harvey with the DRS, and he gets ahead, and Knight has just dropped 3 places. That is the power and the beneficiary of the DRS at the ERS there. And Knight just drops 3 places. He might have picked up some wing damage. I'm not too sure if he did after the contact he made with Elite Riss as he rejoined the lobby and took control of his car. So it's just in the lead still again from Shazoo Venom, Niall in P3 and Simbarox in P4. 4 different teams in the top 4. The top 4 of the top 5 teams in the standings in the top 4 places. FRT's Harvey in P5. So at the moment, FRT looking good for a current points haul here for the moment to get themselves back ahead of FGE. Dom is there in P6 for FGE to take, well, hope try and take some advantage. But he's got JT all over his diffuser, all over his gearbox. JT looking very racy at this moment in time. I still haven't actually given you a fact yet, actually, come to think about it. I'm going to have to find one now, aren't I? Just in case of what sort of fact that it's going to be. So there's no moves being made up towards the front. Is there going to be moves being made here? JT looking like he's quite close to the back of Dom. He is on the power. He is on the battery. He's going to try and force Dom to make a move onto the inside, but he just covers the inside line there nicely and manages to hold on to P6, and JT not interested in the end on making the move. Okay, so here's a fact for you then, Tex. So the Portimao circuit was opened to the latter half of 2008 at the cost of 195 million euros. There is your fact. As they're crowding now, battling once again with Medal, gets the move done, gets himself back into P11, but just think where he might have been if not for the mistake that he made. 3 years younger. Interesting. Kiwi, I am not doing any more facts. You're not getting 4, 5, 4. Feck off, I'm not doing that many facts. You can sod off. So yeah, no moves happening at the front, no moves happening really behind, apart from Dom just about getting a move done there on Harvey. A bit of contact there in behind them between JT and AMS Knight. Knight gets very aggressive. Oh my god, they lagged into it. Oh my god, that is not PG rated. Yeah, that was not for the viewing there for anyone under the age of 18. I'm sorry they had to witness that. Everyone's now requesting facts. Yeah, you're not getting a single one of them. As JT tries to have a look down the inside there of AMS Knight, but nothing quite doing. Harman's now closing in behind, and this train goes from P5 all the way down to P14. 10 cars in this train. Top 4 out in front, a 3-second gap between Simbarox 1 and FRT Harvey, and that gap is just getting bigger and bigger as the laps go by. Then you've got the 4 at the back with the incidents that they've all had with one another, and unfortunately they're just kind of all in a land of their own. Interesting that Jake has a... Yeah, okay then. Right, we're not reading that one out loud. See if there is anything happening towards the front. Is Venom interested in getting a move done on Justin? Not really. He's just going to save the battery, save the ERS, and these 4 just tag each other along. Harvey now, is he going to hold on to P5, or is Dom going to go for a move? No, Dom not interested. Someone who is interested, though, is Crowding. He gets the move done on the second XPG driver, and he gets himself back into the top 10. I know, it's disgusting that, isn't it? You win one race and that's it. Yeah, Crowding does kind of look like he is back to cooking. We will go on board with the Mercedes driver. A bit of a mistake there from Liam Hardman coming through the double right-hander. Look how close the Crowding got there to the back of the diffuser of that Alpine, and he is going to go and try go for a move here. Liam's trying to respond with some ERS of his own. He can't make the move there in JT, who's just holding the racing line, and they do just about stay in formation, but Crowding getting very aggressive, trying to get these moves done. He dives it down the inside line there on Liam Hardman. Liam gives him the space, just about enough space left between them. They're still side by side now, coming to the next right-hander. And Liam gets the move, not done, but he has a lot more battery than Crowding does. If he knew that, he'd actually use it and maybe try and get the position back again. Top 4 stay in the DRS train as they are. Here comes Liam Hardman on the inside of Crowding. And he's going to get, well, Crowding's going to get boxed in because of JT being there. He's going to try and hang it around the outside line. Did he just about keep it within track limits? It was very tight, but he just about maintains and holds on to that P9. As XPG Sim now gets ahead of Liam Hardman, who's now dropped 2 places. Josh picks up the first time penalty of the race already, and we're only on lap 9. Here comes Liam now diving it down the inside and wants to try and retake that position as Elite Risk gets the move done on medal there for P12. As I just noticed, actually, Partick has lost out in the DRS, so we're now down to a 9-car train from Harvey down to medal in P13. Yep, that is Liam's new name. Crowding now all over the back of JT, who in turn is all over the back of AMS Knight. These 3 drivers now getting very, very close to one another. Harvey seems to have got his a decent pace going here. He's not really being challenged by Dom behind him, but he is still losing out to the top 4, out to the 4 drivers in front of him. Crowding now on the back of JT. Is he going to try and get a move done this time around? I don't think he's going to this time. They've actually nearly pulled the DRS on the drivers behind them. As Crowding actually doesn't use any ERS at all, he's actually trying to save it. Josh gets ahead of Partick there for P14. We will have a quick look at the leaders. This is the closest that they've been to each other all race. Yeah, that is the closest that Venom has been to the back of Justin. All of them just, you know, what's that, 1.2, 1.3 seconds separated the top 4. Very, very close out in front, but no one is interested in wanting to lead this race or overtake Justin to take the lead of this race. Dom now starting to close in onto the back of Harvey for P5. Now someone from this, oh, don't know if that was contact there from Knight on the back of Dom, or if Dom just had a bit of a wiggle, and that's invited JT to try and look down the inside of the AMS driver in the Aston Martin. JT trying to force his way through, he gives enough space. Well, here comes Knight, he's responded down the hill and just about holds on. Crowding there, trying to fake a move down the inside line. Nothing doing there, but it's getting very, very feisty at the back end of this top 10. Anything other than a Shazoo win, well, I'm afraid, Tech, that might actually be on, as for the first time in this race, since lap 2, Justin is now not leading this race, and Venom has taken the lead of this race. Simrox 1 is actually very close to the back of now there. Thought he might have been going for a move into turn 3 as they go through turn 4, but nothing doing. The top two have got quite a considerable amount of more ERS compared to Nal and Simrox 1. JT getting very close to the back of Knight again. Is he going to go for a move down the inside lane? The answer is no. What's interesting is since Elite has come back in for the second time, and I hope I'm not going to jinx this, as Martin and Kieran have come to blows once again at the back of the field, his connection's been okay. Hope I haven't jinxed that. Oh, JT, that's an interesting... Oh, Crowding tried to go for an opportunistic move there down the inside as JT ran very wide, or taking a very audacious line, I should say, and well, they nearly came to blows there. Look how you can't get much closer than that. As out in front, it looks like Venom is going to lose that lead and relinquish it to Justin once again. Indeed, he does. Anything happening further behind, Elite Risk goes into the box. He's going to get rid of those soft compounded tyres. And my guess is he's going to go onto the hards? Or is it going to be mediums? I don't know. As Liam picks up a time penalty there. Not good there for Liam. And it is the medium compounded tyres for Elite Risk. He's going to take those 22 racing laps to the end of the race. And he's going to have to hope for a little bit of a miracle as Martin retires into the pit lane. And there goes JT trying to defend from Crowding on the inside lane. But look at Crowding round the outside. He got the traction. JT, though, is still there. He's on the battery. He's got the inside line. He has the racing line just about into this double right-hander. They're still side by side. And they're still side by side. Neither one of them is wanting to relinquish this PA, this 8th place position. More contact being made between the pair of them. Crowding's got the inside line to the right-hander, and he should get the move on. JT, oh, they've come together! That was inevitable. Well, and JT actually has actually waited for Crowding there and has led him through, so I think he perhaps realises that maybe was his fault, but that's not helped Crowding in his pursuit of a good points haul here, and he's now got a 2.3 second gap to the battle of with everyone that was with him. Yes, Kiwi, unfortunately, well, what's happened has happened. I mean, it was good hard racing initially to begin with, and then that happened, and Crowding is now going to lose P11, as there goes Josh now, goes ahead of him. JT actually does continue, he just decided to let a lot of people go ahead of him and just lose DRS. But that is now, well, from what was a 10-car train about 6 laps ago, we are now down to a 6-car train. From P5 down to P10, from Harvey down to Medal. Crowding does retake P11 with the help of DRS there on Josh, as Partek now closes in onto the pair of them. Yes, Tez, now P3. He actually qualified P2, so he's only lost the 1 place, but he is in the main pack. He's in the obviously in the fight for victory and for a podium finish. It was actually a full wet qualifying Tez as well, so he did a very, very good job, as Knight has just lost 2 places and has actually ghosted. So whether he's made a mistake, and in fact, what it has done is it's broken up the DRS, it's broken up this train. Harv and Dom are now clear, and now this train has been split into a pair and into a 4-car train. The race, well, Elite Race has disconnected twice. He did qualify on pole, and unfortunately is not, well, he's down to P16, but he has made a pit stop. You missed the crash, as Adam was just said, between Crowding and JT. There's been some good racing, but also some hard racing and some questionable racing. As Crowding there, well, he's just adding more misery into this race event here for him, as Knight and Sam and Medal getting very close to each other, a bit of contact being made. But Crowding picking up a time penalty there, and that is not Tech. What's your reaction to that? I mean, there's still points to be had. Oh, I have just lost my party. Interesting. There you go, anybody. There's an add-on there for you. Heavy-duty door protection, £43.55. If you want it, go get it. So we'll actually go on board with the leaders for once. Justin, obviously in the lead from Shazoo Venom. These two have just been trading places the last couple of laps as to who's going to lead the train and who's going to be in second place. Now and the Simbrox one have been there, but they've got less ERS compared to the top two. And in fact, Justin has got less ERS than Venom, so that Venom's ERS level's looking very good for the time being. Harvey in P5 has only lost about a second in the last 5 laps to the top 4, so he's showing decent pace. Dom has not been interested to overtake him. He's actually used quite a bit of ERS to try and stick with him, so Harvey's clearly got a bit more pace compared to the FGE driver. Liam Hardman now open to P7 after avoiding the carnage, trying to close in on those in front of them. And he's having a decent race here after what was a bit of a shaky start. 19 P8, XPG S29, S7 P9, and medal rounds out your top 10. Crowding has now closed back in onto this train in front, so Crowding has shown he has got the pace, but that time penalty, the instance that he's come a cropper with, have not helped him. You're not getting these facts. They are not happening. Okay, hang on, actually, I can use something here to actually, that's an interesting comment, Spag. This is going to be for every single fact now that's in this. You've requested, there's 31 facts to be requested. That is the same as my age. There you go. Nothing else. That's it. No more. Why am I reading this in the chat? It is... That's just... Okay. Sem now looks like he's going to go for a move. He's got no battery whatsoever, but he's going to go for the move on AMS Knight nonetheless. Does Medal decide to go for a move himself? The answer is no. So, XPG currently in 8th and 12th. Not a bad race for them so far, but Josh obviously does have the penalty over his head, so I'll have to hope that there is an incident or something to propel him up the order a little bit as VK now joins the penalty club. I mean, if you want to join Tez, by all means you can. I don't care how many facts have been requested. I ain't freaking answering all of them. It is not happening. Right. Just 1 second. Hang on, actually. Tez, just join the party if you're wanting to, Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, well then I'm just gonna leave it on invite only then. I'm not bothering then. If you're on PC and he's less likely to work, I'm not bothering. As go back towards the front, as Venom now retakes the lead back from Justin. Them two just swapping around. This is where the battle is, though. For P8, and Knight is once again going to retake their position. Is Crowding going to go for the move himself? The answer is no. So once again, they're just trading places. Halfway into this race of this 33-lap race here at the Portimao circuit, and it has been an interesting first half of the race of Medal and Crowding. Two heavyweights coming to blows, into a bit of contact there, and well, that could have ended in tears. Oh, geez, Crowding, not Crowding, sorry, Medal completely trying to squeeze Josh there. He might have picked up a warning for that. Yes, two heavyweights is crazy. I've said it already once before, but it's true. We'll actually go on board with the front four for a little bit, actually, since they haven't done a great deal. Simbrox one has managed to save some battery, as has Niall, so they're all pretty much on the same battery now. So, who decides to blink first? That's going to be the question. Who is going to make the jump? Who's going to make the call? Is Justin going to go for the lead of the race? The answer is no. Dom has no interest in passing Harvey. Liam Hardman slowly losing on a bit of ground on the two in front of him, but he is pulling away from those behind as Sem and Knight once again swap places for P8 and P9. Crowding there at P10. Kieran having a fun race in P17. Elite Race setting the fastest lap once again. Be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to when everybody else pits and goes onto the soft compound of tyres, as Justin getting very close there to Venom. That's That's an interesting one, Quip. Yeah, that's okay. And now Sam has joined the penalty club. That's both XPG drivers now with penalties, and their race is going to be made more difficult. Which will definitely help Crowding, actually, considering he's got a penalty of his own, so he might actually be able to gain a few places for the ones that he's lost. Kieran now joins the penalty club as here comes BRT's Justin. Looks like he's going to retake the lead here from Venom at the start of lap 19. Pulls to the right-hand side, and indeed he does. The back onto the racing line, and Justin does indeed once again retake the lead of this race as Liam Hardman is the first driver to make a pit stop. As is Medal, as is Josh. These guys are all going to go onto the soft compounded tyre to do 15 racing laps. Now that, I think, should be okay, but it is asking a bit. As JT, oh dearie me, and JT has come into another incident, this time with XPG Sam, and well, if his race couldn't get any worse, then well, it just did. VK goes to P11, Sam's unfortunately now dropped out, but it does mean that Crowding has moved up places. There you go, tech and good news. So he's now up into P8, and I know he has that penalty, but he should pull away from Partick, unless Knight decides to try and hold him up. Up at the front, Venom and Justin, not quite close enough. It looks like Venom's probably going to stay in behind Justin. We'll just see and make sure. And the answer is yes, and no movement being made in behind. But here come Harvey and Dom now. Going to go, and oh, Dom, that is just a rookie mistake. That is a rookie error to speed into the pit lane. And, well, what could have been a great result there for FGE is now turned into a not-so-good result. So the top four stay out. Partick has also stayed out. He's going to go one lap longer. So I expect these four to all pit together. Okay, so something to bear in mind at this point as well. So Elite Risk, obviously, who's on the alternate strategy, pretty much 8 seconds clear of Harvey. Now Harvey was about 5.5 seconds off this leading pack, so I think Elite Risk should be the net race leader at this point, but he will have these four closing him down. It's a bit of a shame, obviously, with Elite Risk disconnecting twice. I think he'd had a good chance of winning this race, or at least be in the fight for a top, what should be a top 5 finish. But well, let's see what happens. Let's see what he can do from where he is. Do any of the top 4 pit? The answer is Simbarox1 does pit. He's going for the undercut, and well, we'll hopefully try and get ahead of the top 3. As Elite Risk now closing in onto the back of JT. JT obviously still yet to pit. JT not having a bit of a hectic race, to say the least. Well, at least Elite Risk is going to get some DRS. Does JT pit? The answer is no. So Elite Risk is going to get some DRS to help propel him down this main straight. Where does he come out in relation to Simbarox1? That is the question we need to see. And the answer is, there is the gap. No, Matthew, I'm not doing any facts. So 2 seconds is the gap. That's going to come down very quickly. But Elite Risk will probably want to get the move done here on JT as quickly as he can. Fakes the move there, goes into the inside line. JT just about gives him the space. Obviously, JT is going to defend for his life to help his teammates, and there we go. Well, there we go. He does defend the position and keeps Elite Risk behind him to at least for the next DRS straight. But here comes Elite Risk down the inside line into the right-hander, just about gives JT enough room. And does he get the move done there? Does he complete it? Yes, he does, just about. But Simbarox1 has already closed the pair of them down, as the top 3 do all indeed pit. Just look at the grip difference there between the 20-lap-old mediums and the brand new set of soft tyres that Simbarox1 has got. It's like taking candy from a baby. And I think Simbrooks 1 might actually be able to take the provisional lead of this race, as there he goes, he pulls to the inside of Elite Risk, and indeed, there goes Simbrooks 1. And, oh, everyone else just coming out of the pit lane altogether, and Simbrooks 1 had a bit of a moment through turn 1, and Elite Risk goes down the inside into turn 3. This will now be a look at JT now. He's actually got Venom behind him. Justin has managed to come out ahead of him. Simbrooks 1 now has taken the lead of this race, so that one lap undercut has propelled him ahead of Justin, Venom and Niall, and surely JT's got to let his teammate go. Simbercock leading, yes indeed he is. As here comes Justin now on the inside of Elite Risk, and Elite Risk does not defend that in the slightest. He's not bothered with that. Is he going to let surely he's got to let Venom go and just try and stay in behind his teammates and keep TTM's Niall in behind him. But it is Simbrooks 1 who leads this race for the first time. Justin in P2, Elite Risk P3, Shazoo Venom P4, Niall in P5. These are your top 5. JT is still yet to pit. Harvey up into P6, and there we go. Elite Risk just moving completely to the inside line there. Is going to let his teammate go ahead of him. 9 or 10 lap different age of tyres there. I mean, Elite Risk is going to do a great job if he can stick with everybody in this trade. If he can, then, you know, full credit to him considering what's happened to him this race. So Simbrooks 1 has gone from P4 to P1. He has jumped everybody. He is now the leader of this race. Harvey looking pretty comfortable in P6 actually, in P6, and he's 4.5 seconds off the top 5, which I don't think he's going to close down, but he's managed to pull away from Dom, who's picked up that 10-second time penalty. He's now got Liam Hardman right behind him. Crowding has now moved himself up into P9 as Kieran has retired in the pit lane. Community changes. Oh, Harvey picking up a time penalty there. It's not going to cost him anything, but a bit silly there potentially there from the FRT man, as Elite Risk is going to come under threat here from Niall onto his DRS straight. He has actually got the DRS as Elite Risk. He's managed to stay in the train, but I think he's going to let the TTM man go because of the fresher tyres and the different compounded tyres that he has, and indeed he just about does. So Niall moves himself back into P4, Elite Risk down into P5, and he'll just do his damnedest to stay with them. As Justin obviously now retakes the lead of this race from Venom, so it's back as we were with the top 2. Simbrooks 1 in P3. I mean, Tech, I think there's more than 9 good Xbox drivers. It depends in what respect that you look at it, because people are always going to improve or be better at some tracks than other ones, obviously. I mean, as a generalization as a whole, I do think there's more than 9, but I do understand what you're saying. I mean, you know, I've been around long enough, and I think the talent at the moment is maybe not the best as it used to be. But obviously, it doesn't help the fact with the game being in the state that it is, and there aren't as many people buying the game. As Venom now takes the lead once again from BRT's Justin. So these two once again are just going to keep on swapping time and time again. Elite Risk did manage to just about keep the DRS on that occasion. Harvey now less than 4 seconds behind him, but does have that time penalty, as Liam Hardman actually has got the move done on Dom there for P7. He had the position anyway through the 10-second penalty that Dom has, and at the moment that is going to drop him several positions. So at the moment, Team Shazoo are going to be outscoring BRT. That gap will, will definitely close. It will be less than 50 points. I'm not working it out, but I think it's going to be something like 45-ish at the moment. Might be more than that. In fact, it will be more than that, depending on how Venom and Justin finish. But if anything were to happen between Venom and Justin, you've got Simbrox 1 and Nal there to pick up the pieces. Barney, I'm not requesting, I'm not doing facts. I ain't doing that. It's bad enough as it is with how many were bloody sent. What I am just going to quickly do is just look at this battle that's going on down. It's for the top 10 as XPG Sen gets ahead of Knight. Medal and Partick going side by side, coming into turn 1. Partick going for an inside move there on the FGE man, and Medal trying to go for a switchback. Josh is in right behind the pair of them, and Partick gets the move done on the outside. So good move there from the MS driver. Gets himself into P12 for the time being. Dom has now lost DRS to the back of Liam Hardman. So Liam Hardman has actually got decent pace here and is pulling away as Knight now picks up a penalty. So it is only the top 5 and Medal who have not picked up a penalty in any shape or form. Gap closes to 43. Okay. If it stays as it is, I'm guessing that is with a 1.5 and a 2.9. Actually, saying that at the moment, Crowding will finish in P8 because Dom's penalty is a 10-second. You're actually right here, Rogwin. Elite is doing a very good job in terms of sticking in this DRS with the drivers in front. As Nal is getting very racy onto the back of Simbrox 1. Was half looking for a move there into turn 1, but nothing doing. Venom continues to lead this race from Justin, from Simbrox 1, from Nal, and Elite Race is just there in the background in case anything is to happen. But he's doing a fantastic job to stick with them. No bias, obviously, whatsoever. Crowding will be P8 as well. Dom's now got 13 seconds of penalties, so yeah. I think Crowding's definitely going to get P8, so I think that gap will be 44 then. BRT will be leading by 44. The gap is currently 53 points, Jay, going into tonight. But oh, it's a yellow flag, and that is Dom. And well, unfortunately for Dom, he's made a mistake and he's now down to P15. He was having a decent race right up until that point. But did he get hit by the XPG driver? Because Sem's now slow right down and Dom's now just stopped. I mean, just move. Don't freaking cause anything. Yeah, there's sus and then there's sus. Right, we'll go back on with the top 5. As VK goes ahead of Josh for P12. Medal's actually going to gain quite a few places. Well, at least 2 places at the moment. It would have been an interesting way to get a safety car, that's for sure. And it would have been on stream as well. You can't fool me. 7/10 is the gap between Venom and Justin. I think that's the biggest the gap has actually been for quite some time, actually. Elite Race still doing a good job on hanging on to them, and has actually managed to save a bit of battery as well. And in fact, so the top 2 have got the biggest battery, and everyone else seems to be in the 40s and 50s. Harvey in P6 has got plenty of battery to deploy if he wanted to. 3.7 behind the top 5, slowly closing in, but with only five laps to go here. I think it might be a little bit too little too late. Answers on a postcard, Tez, is the answer to that question. Haven't got a clue. As I'm actually going to go further back, actually, with Medal and VK having a good scrap here, and Partick as well. Partick has actually lost the... Oh, who's that in behind? I've just seen going. That was Josh deciding he wanted to try and touch the wall and touch some grass. That'd have been interesting if that caused the safety car. Around the final corner, we come once again for the 29th time to start lap 30 and 4 laps to go here at Portimao. Venom still leads from Justin. Here comes Naldo on the battery to try and get ahead of Simrox 1. Is he going to get the move done? The answer is no. He tucks in behind once again. Simrox 1 just had enough ERS to hold that position. But these two, with the battery usage that Lyle is using, they're not going to have any left potentially for the end of the race. But I know what he's trying to do. He wants to get ahead of Simrox 1 to try and challenge the top two if he can. As Justin taking an interesting line there, and Simrox 1 nearly gets caught out with that. As we have yellow flags once again, that is for XPG Sem, who's now retired in the pit lane. So we're now down to 14 drivers, and it's been a bad day at the office here for XPG, unfortunately. We're just down in P14. Sem is retired. Harvey now 5 seconds off the back of this top 5, so at one point where he was closing the gap down, unfortunately now that is not the case, as Simrox 1 is 7/10 behind Justin, and Niall is going to have a good opportunity here, but he hasn't quite got the battery. But he's got the slipstream. Is he going to have enough there? Simrox 1 goes to the inside line. He knows he's under threat, defending there for as much as he can. Niall tries to go on the outside line. That's called an illegal overtake. And he does indeed let him back through. Oh, here comes Elite Risk down the inside line. An opportunistic move catches Niall off guard. And Elite Risk gets himself up into P4. There was nothing wrong with that. He just caught him off guard. There was enough space there for him, and Naldo, I think, just lost traction on the exit of the corner there, and Elite Risk gets himself to P4. Maybe the medium tyres are now getting into that window that they are maybe better than these soft tyres, even though they're 9 and 10 laps older. Oh, Risk, what are you doing? You do all the hard work and then you pick up a penalty. It's not a penalty at all, Ollie. He caught him off guard. There was space there for him, and Niall just lost traction on the exit of the corner. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that. As Simrox 1 is actually now harvesting, and he's just got the DRS, but these top two, they're going to fight out in these last 2 laps. Simrox 1 is going to... He started... Oh, he's made a mistake there as Simrox 1. And here comes Elite. Is Elite Risk going to look for a move down the inside line? The answer is no, but he's lost the DRS. This is now a straight fight between Justin and Venom. As there goes Elite Risk down the inside of Simrox 1. He's going to get the move done on the FRT driver. Just as he got the traction, has he got the power? The answer is yes, he does. He moves himself up to P3. I really hope he can get that penalty removed. But look at these two now, both of them not using their battery. But this is going to get spicy. Venom there, not with the best of final sectors. Justin is all over the back of him. And I think, to be honest, this is inevitably just going to be a move that's going to happen. He's going to have the DRS, and he's going to have the move done on board with the BRT, man. And Venom is doing his damnedest to keep him behind. But there goes the DRS. There's the ERS. The overtake is on. And Justin does indeed take the lead of this race. Onto the final lap. Venom's going to do his best to try and close back in behind. So why have we got this stupid on board? Thank you. I didn't want to see that. But those three are all battling together. Here comes Venom down the inside. He's got the DRS down the inside of Justin, and he gets the move done. He retakes the lead of the race. Elite Risk is down the inside of Simrox 1 for P3 as well. But a great move there from as now goes into P3 on the exit of the corner. I'm guessing Elite Risk and Simrox 1 came together. Indeed they have. And Niall has taken P3 now for TTM. But back to the top two. Venom has retaken the lead. He's got to keep it to the right-hand side because Justin's going to send it down the inside line. Indeed, he does. There's contact between the pair of them. That, I think, is a little bit too far there from Justin. He didn't really leave the space. But as we come into the final few corners now, the gap is 0.3 of a second. Venom still has a chance to get into the line. It's a case of who's got the battery. They've both got pretty much the same amount of battery. DRS is going to be open. Who's going to get into the line? Justin wins the race here at Portugal for BRT. Venom is P2. Niall takes P3 at the end, which he's going to be very happy with. Simbrox 1 will end up in 4th place because of Elite Risk penalty. It drops him to P5. But that was a heart-raising, hair-raising final out there between the top two. Bit of contact was made in that middle sector. Whether that gets taken to the stewards or not, I don't know. But Justin did go for the move on the inside. Contact was made mid-corner. Well, it'd be interesting to see the POVs there of both drivers. But for now, BRT Justin does take the win. But Shazoo, with their 2nd and 5th place finishes and with their crowning finishing down in P8, I think will still close the gap. Crowning does actually get driver of the day. There you go, Tech. Even with all the mistakes and errors and everything that he did, he still manages to get driver of the day. But that's not hard, is it, considering when you start P16 and finish in P8. Well, we'll see what both drivers have to say, Moza. But it was a very tough, and it was a good last lap. There was very close between the pair of them. One driver has to come out on top, and for the time being at least, or provisionally at least, it is going to be Justin. So Justin takes the win here at Portimao from Venom and Niall. Simbrox 1 in P4 for FRT, Elite Risk in P5, Harvey in 6th, Liam Hardman 7th, Crowding in P8, and actually Crowding does get the fastest lap as well. So good effort there from Crowding, I suppose, in the end, considering. Medal in P9 and AMS Night rounds up the top 10. Then you have JT, VK, Partik, and Josh were your finishers, and then obviously Sam, Dom, Kieran, and Martin were your non-finishers. So we do actually have a bit of a break now. I'm trying to see exactly as to how long this break is. So we have a 3-week break now before the next race, which is going to be at the legendary Sao Paulo circuit for the final 5 rounds of the season. We have Brazil, Canada, Austria, Las Vegas, and Abu Dhabi to round off the AEC Championship. But that has been... Oh, I hope that was fun for you all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me once again in the box. We'll see you in 3 weeks' time. Take care, everybody.